Hello, hello. I can't. I think that's all right. Looks a bit blurry, but we will do. Kids. I have a question for parents, and it came about from a conversation I had with my friend yesterday, which was inspired, I guess, by the child-free movement. And you may have seen it, you may have, it's on YouTube a lot. Just women and men who have chosen to be child-free for a whole host of reasons. And, you know, there's often a lot of negative talk about having kids and how kids are shared. And, that people don't want kids. And listen, everybody should choose. Nobody should feel that they have to have kids. Having kids is insanely difficult. But what I wanted to talk about or ask people, because I really thought more about it after speaking with my friend. My immediate response to a video like that is, oh man, you are missing out on the best part of life. You don't know how the love you have for your child just eclipses everything else. And so to go through your life without that, without ever knowing that unconditional love, it is such a loss. And I have never been, I've always wanted kids, but I didn't have my daughter till I was 33. I left it late. I did my career. I partied. I really lived my 20s. So when it came to 30s, I was ready to change all of that and to have a baby. And so we went to have a baby, and we couldn't conceive naturally. And after years of all kinds of different things, we ended up doing IVF. And we got my girl, and she's the light of my fucking life. I just treasure her, and even though me and her dad are no longer together, he is just as on board as I am. We both wanted to be the mum. So we shared it. We both worked part-time and we both mummed part-time. And 5 years ago, we split up. We're still close. We'd been together for 20 years and I haven't dated since. And I'm not interested. And the funny thing was, I said to my friend, I'd be interested in stepkids. So I need to find a guy who's got a bunch of kids. And really, I just want the kids, which is a bit dodgy to say, but it's true. I didn't know I'd love kids so much. If I hadn't left it as late as I did, I could have had more. But you don't know things before you know them. So listening to these child-free people, I guess just trying to teach people about why they're child-free and why it's an important choice and why it should be a choice. Not everyone should be a parent, and not everyone will love being a parent. I loved being a parent because I'm a nurturer by nature. Like, before I had my daughter, I've got 5 billion animals, wildlife rescue, and baby possums, and a house full of fur babies. So my life is cleaning up poo and looking after things. And if that's not your thing, I can really see how parenting would be awful, really awful. Because it's so fucking hard that the reward needs to be really fucking good. And it is. like in many ways, your life kind of doesn't start until you have kids. In that so many of the lessons that you learn through having a kid, it's just to go through life without learning about that whole other world. I feel I don't get it. Like I get it in that it's hard and everyone should choose, but that's just not how I feel. So that was my original thoughts and spin on it is, oh, you're missing out. It's amazing and all of the things. But then after chatting with my friend, I was laying in bed and I was worrying about something to do with my daughter, and it really got me thinking, is it worth having kids? This is coming from someone who fucking loves being a mum. Is it worth having kids? And what I mean by that is, look, let me give you a little backstory. When I was pregnant, one of my good friends was pregnant too, and she was pregnant ahead of me. And so she had a baby first. And I remember getting this message from her, and it was like, because I'm like, how you going? And she's like, oh, Nick, having a child, yes, it's amazing and it's a love like no other and blah, blah, blah. She goes, look, if my parents were to die tomorrow, I'd be really sad for a really long time. But if my child died tomorrow, I'd have to kill myself. And I remember laughing at that at the time. And then you have a kid. And immediately, if anything happens to this child, I'll have to kill myself. Like there's no life beyond this. And that's a hard thing to say because lots of people lose children and they are forever sad. But they are living their lives and they're getting their lives back. My cousin had twins and lost one of them. And when you've got more than one child, you can't just kill yourself. like what that was my plan. I've got one child, that's still my plan. But you've got to live. A lot of people have got multiple kids. You can't just, well, people do, but you can't let yourself fall into that hole because you've got people counting on you. But for me, because I've got one child, I know that I will not survive anything happening to her. I don't want to survive anything happening to her. And because I've got one child, that's my backup plan, which is insane to say, but it's just true. That's the depth of the love you have for this thing. And then I started to go down that tunnel of imagine not having to worry all day, every day for the rest of your life. Imagine not having that worry. Because my happiness hinges on my daughter's happiness, and everything that she goes through, good and bad, I'm there feeling it along with her. And just to give you a perspective, before I had my daughter, I was happy to die. And I'm not saying I wanted to die, but if I happened to die, that's okay. I'm open to the experience of dying. So I'm not scared of death. I was never scared of death. In fact, I saw it as just another experience And I was okay with it. And then the minute you have your baby, I can never die. I can never die. And once you've got a child, just thinking about losing her one day or having to say goodbye to her one day is just overwhelmingly terrifying. Having kids is fucking terrifying. And that anxiety and that love, is it worth it? Like, can you imagine? I started to think, if I didn't have a kid, I would lead a very different lifestyle. I would probably sell my house and buy a road house, and I would travel. And I wouldn't have to worry about anything apart from myself, maybe my parents. I'm not saying that as I've said, I love being a mum more than anything in the world. The love is so intense that, and this is a bit sad, but when we had our baby, both myself and her dad channeled all of our love into her, all of our love into her. We no longer loved or cared for or we stopped investing in our love because our love for her just eclipsed that. And as a result of that, it took 20 years, we ended up not being together. So the love is so big that you can go from being desperately in love with your husband or your partner to fuck you. It's all about this thing. It's this thing. It's the precious. And that wasn't a good thing to do. You have to invest in your love for one another as well as hold space for it as well as your baby. My baby's 16 now in a week or two. I can't believe it. The other thing, the level of responsibility is just mind-boggling because it's not just about you. You have to provide a home. You have to provide food. You have to buy presents and pay for school and you can't let it fall apart. You can't let your life fall apart anymore. And that's terrifying. I'm a single mum. I would never have brought this house, done what I needed to do to buy this house if it wasn't for my daughter. So kids really make you assess everything about yourself and about your living. And that's just such an important life lesson. And I feel it coming already. The next life lesson is aging. But I guess what I'm asking is, we love our kids, but would you do it again? And my answer is yes. However, I have a fantasy of, I'd love to get to do life twice. I'd like to do it once without kids and once with kids. But you don't get to do that. The stress, the worry, it is absolutely, you can't describe it unless you've had it, lived it. The fear of everything when it comes to your child, fucking everything. It's terrifying. Kids put you in situations that you would never put yourself in. They drive you to be good, and they drive you to be better because they're counting on you. So in lots of ways, if it wasn't for my daughter, I wouldn't have busted my ass to buy a house. You kind of learn to become wholesome and provide a wholesome existence for your child. But is it worth it? Would you do it again? Anyway, it's just interesting because my immediate response to a lot of these things is, oh man, you don't know what you're missing out on. But then when I think more deeply about it, fuck, it's hard. The worry you have for your child is just... When I was pregnant, I first found out I was pregnant, I kept getting scared that I was going to lose it. So I was doing pregnancy tests all the time, just to check. And I remember I got to my friend's house and I pulled out a pregnancy test and I'm just checking. And she's just laughed. And she goes, you would never. This is the beginning of you worrying about your baby and it's never going to end. And she just laughed. And she had 4 kids. And she was right. The worry is never going to end. It is the hardest thing you will ever do. But it is the most rewarding. But not for everyone. And I get that. Don't have kids. If you don't like cleaning shit and providing a nice house, don't have kids. I think animals are the best practice run for kids. If you can deal with them, dogs especially, they're almost kids. They're kids with fur. But they require work. You've got to be around and you've got to entertain them and you've got to... You know, for me, the fear is crippling because it all hinges on me. I'm a single mum. I've got a mortgage. I've just had fucking heart surgery. Haven't been able to work. So the fear of losing my house because of my daughter, I wouldn't care if I didn't have my daughter. I'd go, cool, let me just buy an RV and go live at the beaches. All the beaches. And I'd be cool with that. So every now and again, I get a bit sad for that. And I think, gosh, I'm missing out. I've got this one life. I am missing out on so much that I could do if it was just me. So much. So in having kids, I've sort of pigeonholed myself for a time. You know, my daughter goes to this amazing school. We're also bound to this area for 20 years. So that freedom of being child-free can be, sometimes I'm sad for myself and wonder if it's the right thing to do. My girl's turning 16 in a week. She had a friend sleepover last night. They're catching a bus to a big shopping centre today. So they're off doing that. And it's so beautiful. And just having girls around at any age, I love it. I'm sure I would have embraced and loved boys too. I've got many male friends. But I love that I had a girl, and I love listening to them talk about boys and all the things that you did as a girl when you were a girl. You know, and I'm a bit self-destructive in the sense that I've got impulse control issues. I'm a risk taker. I may be dead if I didn't have my daughter. Man, kids make you get your shit together. They just do. So here I am in my home. It's beautiful and it's warm and there's food in the cupboard and it's all for her. And I'd do it again, but man, it's hard. And would you do it again? Is the stress and the worry worth it? I'm just curious to think what others think. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. See ya.